Welcome to Big Life Weekly Series, where we empower high achievers to break free from limits, unlock their natural potential, and live a big life. I'm your host, Robert Acosta, and each week we will explore the strategies, mindsets, and tools you need to thrive, not just in your professional career, but in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a leader looking for a better balanced life, an entrepreneur aiming for sustainable success, or someone ready to take the next step toward your best self, this podcast is your space to grow, reflect, and take action. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, I'm Robert Acosta. I'm with Buster Eriksson from Shellman Scandinavian in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Welcome, Buster.
Thank you very much, Robert.
My pleasure to having you here today. So let's get started right away to showcase your business. So, Buster, can you give us a 90-second overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
Sure. So what Shellman does essentially is that we create high-end natural art with sustainably sourced materials from sea and beach. We work towards private collectors, restaurants, yacht owners, and public spaces. And we always challenge ourselves to take on find a new way of expressing shell art and showing a modern take on this, where some of our latest pieces incorporate light and shells, and we try to always find that unique way of displaying them and taking them into your home so you can enjoy the beauty of the nature. And doing this with, of course, sustainably sourced materials is a number one for us.
How you started that? What is the genesis of when you started doing that?
So I spent 10 years working for Apple and came from the complete other side of the spectrum, where it was all ones and zeros, and either it works or it doesn't, and there are not many soft values in that sense. And after some time there, I was curious to explore other sides of life. But after 10 years of working for big corp and everything that has to come with that, security and other things, that was a huge step to get out of that comfort zone and go on and dare to explore what it could be, what it could mean to not work in the 9 to 5 and to not have the security of doing that, at least to start with.
That's amazing. So what do you enjoy most about this new endeavor, so about the work you do in your business?
So I would definitely say that what I mostly enjoy is that it's a constantly evolving process, and there's no kind of right and wrong. There is not like, oh, this works or this doesn't work. It's all open to interpretation, and it's all open to kind of continue exploring and finding new ways of working with, in my case then, different types of seashells, how I learn how they interact with each other of the same species, but also how I can work with different shells to kind of create that feeling that I'm looking for, or how they can interlock with each other and create patterns of its own. You can find a shell from one side of the world and another shell from the other side of the world, and they completely just interlock with each other when you put them together, even though they have never been even in the same ocean, which is just amazing to me to see so many possibilities instead of having a computer that will kind of either work or not work for you.
All about interpretation, as you said, and maybe it's subjective, of course. How do you define success in the work you do?
So I would say that the success for me is when I see someone come in and brings a smile to their face, and they're seeing like, this is something I've never seen. And seashells is something that I think a lot of us have a relationship either to as kids or just from walking the beach. Some of us don't like to lie on the beach and just tan all day, but we would walk up and down the beach and just see them, and we will have memories from our vacations or from when we were kids, and usually those are happy memories, and someone comes in and be like, wow, I have never seen anyone work with these in a way that you do. And to me, that is just putting a smile on someone's face and showing them that this is, you can also do this, and it kind of opens someone's eyes to that. Oh, okay. If you would have told me that you did this for a living, I would never have believed you. And most people think of a little match, like a little match box of matches, or a jewelry case, or something like this. When I say that I work with seashells, and not large murals or other larger pieces with tens of thousands of seashells. So that's seeing and then hearing people's reactions to that is really something special.
Yes, that's your main reward, right? To be
That is,
the
as an artist of any kind, I would say that that's creating a that feeling or a feeling in someone, and getting to experience that is a big thing, and also of course hearing how that is interpreted by someone else is always interesting.
right. So I'm just curious, what would be in this industry of art, let's say, and the shell art, what could be a challenge that you see in this industry of art, or specifically in shells, or specifically what you do, and how you're solving that for yourself, your clients, your colleagues? What would be that?
So I challenge it for myself. I would say it's always finding the balance between creating and getting out there and kind of marketing yourself, and in this day and age of social media and other things, it also takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort to actually do that part as well. And it is something that is needed, but it's also something that it does take a lot of time and some time and effort from the actual work, and those can kind of very much work hand in hand, and it give you a lot of opportunities, but before they do, they can also take a lot of the time that you would otherwise use to create, kind of, and that can always be a challenge, I would say, to balance that.
Yeah. So I understand the challenge of getting out there and really being recognized, and to have something that people want. So who is your ideal client then, and what significant outcomes can they expect when they connect with you?
So my ideal client, I would say, is anyone looking for a proper conversation piece in their either private collection, or for their restaurant, boat, or otherwise. That I would say that my pieces leave. No one will walk past them without having an impression of them and having a thought of, what was that? What did I see? Some people think they're beautiful, some people have other opinions, but they will not leave anyone without a thought on them. So they're a great conversation starter. That is something that I've noticed over the years of doing this, that having that conversation starter in the right environment really sparks some great things. And for the second part of the question, what they can offer when they come to me, they can always, so something we take a big pride in is to always deliver very high detail, and like always strive for perfection in our works. That it's something that you would not only enjoy from afar, but you should be able to go up close, go all the way up, also feel the pieces, and see that the detail is all the way there. It's not only from afar, but going all the way in, and detail, I would say attention to detail is something that is kind of our signum.
Yeah, it's interesting how you say it. It has to be a conversation. Could be a positive, negative. It's just some reaction. It has to produce some reaction. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about, right?
Exactly. So art that doesn't create a reaction from the viewer or from the listener or whatever art form it is that is kind of the number one thing it should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think most people, well, I would say I talk by myself that we are very ignorant about what art is. But we are looking for, if you have a restaurant, as you say, if you have a business and you want to decorate, you want to produce some emotion when you are in that environment. I know that most people are actively seeking those kind of solutions, maybe subconsciously sometimes, but solutions to achieve better outcomes. In this case, to have more clients in the restaurant, in their business, because there is a good environment. So, what makes you unique in the way you help them achieve those outcomes?
So a lot of the times I do not only works like the one you see behind me here that comes out of my own imagination and curiosity towards the medium I'm working with, but I also work closely with interior designers and decorators to create those settings, whether it's for a super yacht or for a restaurant. And the kind of the sooner you can get into that conversation into when creating a space, the more unique you can make it to that specific space and help create that feeling. So working closely with either the client directly or sometimes the architects, designers, etc., as a mediator is something that is unique to us, and to create those styles from early point in time when creating a new space. And that is our expertise in how you can do that with natural materials, but then also having the input of the client or the space where it's gonna be in how they want to be portrayed. And also a lot of times it's about showcasing their focus on sustainability as a part of that. For instance, if it's a restaurant serving oysters and blue mussels, why not work with oysters and blue mussels that were served at the restaurant to create a spectacular piece for them that they then can have not only a story around, but they can also be like, well, this is what we do to make sure that we know the full cycle of our product here, of our food products or whatever they're working with.
So in a way, your art or whatever you do as an artwork has to convey a story, and it's not necessarily your story, but the story of the business, the story of the owner. So you have to blend your art with that story or with that need of a story, and then put it together in a tailor-made art for a specific place and for a specific message that in this case the owner want to convey, right? And that's the uniqueness that you do it.
Exactly, and coming at it and not only as a artist wanting to create, but an artist understanding that it's coming from an artist entrepreneur kind of angle, that you understand that there is more to it than just creating the piece and delivering this to someone, but it has to contribute to what they want to achieve with their business or their space or wherever the piece might hang.
So as you work with many people within different industry or any different kind of businesses, what would be some strange or the strangest or funniest incident that you have experienced while working within your artwork, with business, or with some of your clients? Is there something funny or strange that happened to you recently or in the past?
Well, there's a lot of interesting people that finds you when you do something in a niche like this. You get to meet some interesting people. I have had the University of Amsterdam donate shells to me, for instance. And the professor who contacted me who had this collection, who was responsible of it, he also happened to be the responsible for the snail breeding at the University of Amsterdam. And also he came by, wanted to see my work before he continued with this, and then he invited me to the university to see where they breed snails to then use in their studies and their tests. And just getting invited to places like this, but also connecting with other people in other very niche fields, is something really, really interesting that I had no idea that would happen because I do something like this. And just finding that those new kind of contact points with people that you would never have any contact points with in other ways. It's just really something that's really unique and something I didn't see coming when I started this.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think there are things that are obvious that are going to serve humanity or are going to be useful for the advancement of humanity. But I think in terms of art, art has a key role of that as well because it conveys or it produces emotions. And I always say that human beings are more emotional than rational. So I think what you do is beautiful and it has a good impact if you do it the right way and really connect with people, not just art or for the sake of it. So, what do you see as the coming trends within this great industry of art as the role in the world? So, what are the trends that you're seeing that are useful trends, of course, and how are you staying on top of those trends?
So what I've seen over the last 6 years, or a little bit more than 6 years of doing this, is a constantly getting a more and more interest in something that is unique, something that is handcrafted, something that is made with the utmost care and attention to detail. And how that in a world of fast fashion and mass production is something that is getting more and more appreciated and something that is really coming back in terms of anywhere from traditional handcrafts to appreciating not only shell art but also classical art in terms of drawings or paintings or things like this when we have unlimited amounts of AI art and other things that we can create out of thin air in seconds. And that is something really that we have seen over the years. Also the interest for us grows, and in general anyone in our kind of field that somewhere crosses art and craft, and our pieces cross between fine art, abstract, and kind of more functional pieces, or what's in English you would say decorative art pieces. That is something, the interest is just growing constantly. That is something we've seen over the last few years.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that an art or a piece of art coming from AI, it's not art by itself, but nothing like the human touch in that art, right? So I think that's what you're saying. So that's a trend, or that could be different trends. There is a trend in AI as well. But really, the real connoisseurs of art, they know that care, that human care, and that human touch, it's the difference between regular art or other art than the real art, and that's exactly what you provide to your clients, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that human touch and that feeling that you could never get in something mass made in any other sense, because every shell is unique. You can't put them together. You can never, even when I have clients coming back and they're asking me for, oh, I love this piece that you made some years ago, and could you make me another one, or could you make me the same one? And my answer is always no. I could never make the same one again because, well, Mother Nature doesn't provide the same again. I could make a sibling, I could make a sister or a brother or something inspired by this, but they're always, all the pieces are unique in its true sense by that mean.
Wow, that's amazing. So what advice would you give to someone just starting in this business? Someone that saw your art and say, "Oh, I'm going to do the same with maybe other kind of materials or whatever." But what would you say to someone like you were starting a few years ago? So in order to really, really help that person to flourish in this industry.
I would, and it might seem contradictory, but I would start slow and I would try to not dive in all the way and say that this is what I will make my living off going forward. Because that stress that you put on yourself, if you go into, say, from a full-time job to say, I'm going to be a full-time artist, but I have not done this before, that is going to be a tremendous amount of stress that you put on yourself that might also limit your own creativity. So I would actually advise someone to have another stream of income if that is something that you need, if that's not something that you already set yourself up to, because this is it's a slow moving process, especially in the beginning, before you made a name of yourself and before you kind of figured out what you're doing and how you're doing it. And to have that security will also give you a more calm and, I would say, make you a better artist starting out, because you can spend that time focusing on what you want to create rather than the bottom line of what you would actually sell or how you would put food on your table with what you're creating, because I think those things kind of contradict each other in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's a very good advice, and maybe sometimes you fail in the process, so you have to be very patient. If you really love what you do, you have to stick to it and be patient, but not being stressed, but having that other source of income or other source of ability to keep you alive and keep doing what you want. So I guess in the past, or maybe in the transformation of coming from a corporation like that is your story to your current life. Can you share with us one of the failures, or a big failure or challenge that you faced to this point in your life, and how has that shaped the way you do business now?
Well, a big challenge was, I would say the biggest challenge that I faced was just daring to get started. After 10 years for a big corporation, as I said, you're very secure, you know what you have every month, and you know kind of how your life looks. And taking that leap of faith of saying that, hey, I don't know what I want to do, but I know this is not what I would like to do for the rest of my life. Just having that courage to say that, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't know how it's going to look, but I need to go out there and look for it. And to take that step will most likely, and definitely was for me, the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, to just say, I have this, everything is great here, but I'm still gonna say, I want something different, and to get that, I need to quit this before I know what I'm doing. And what I did, in my early 30s, when I left Apple, was to go out travel for a few years, and that led me into a very different mindset, and also into different interests. And along the way, I happened to find the shells, or the shells found me, and that also would not have happened without some tragedy on the way. I was in a car accident, and without that car accident, I would also never have found the shells and started working with them. So I didn't know at the time. At the time, it was obviously the biggest tragedy for me. I was hitchhiking towards India, and had that as a project, and got hit by a car after 4 months, and broke my foot. I was half a step away from a certain death, and that kind of put everything on its edge. And I was, of course, devastated when this happened. But looking back, I also know that without that accident, and without not being able to continue towards India, I would not have found the shells, and I would not have even started exploring what I do today. And that's nothing I could have known at the time. But looking back, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I think that's a very good state of mind or mindset, as you say, because when you know that everything that happens to you, it has a purpose, or it has something to do with your purpose, or with you really to find your uniqueness. And when you really live with that mindset, there are no bad or good things. Things are, and then you make them good or bad, but it's depending on your mindset, and that's a really liberating way of living. And I think that's essential for an artist, to have that freedom not only physically and geographically, but in your mind. It's very important to let your mind go free, and then you're going to be more creative, which is the essential for an artist, right?
Yeah, that's definitely right, and also being sure that you don't always know why something happens at the time, and it might seem like the biggest tragedy, but be sure that sometime in the future you might look back and see that that wasn't a tragedy. That was actually a really, really good thing, and to be able to have that mindset when it happens to you as well, and not get caught in the moment. That is not always easy, but something that's it's very,
Right.
very
Yeah.
good when you can keep that mindset.
I think in the audience that whoever is hearing this and watching this have experienced those kind of things that at the beginning you say, oh, that's the worst thing that it's happening to me, but and later say, oh, it wasn't that bad at all. So you just need to wait. If you don't understand it immediately, just wait. There's something good behind everything that happens to you, and of course you can harvest the bad, but the idea is to harvest the good because there's always good and bad. But focus on the good is my suggestion, at least on my advice.
For sure, there will be
So
there's plenty of bad to go around, but focus on the good, and there's always something to take with you.
that's correct. So, what is the one thing that has been most instrumental in your success, if you can choose one thing?
Something that kind of external, or something that has been something that I have created, or there's been a few. Yeah. So in kind of what angle does it come from?
Yeah, whatever comes to your mind. One thing that say, well, this thing it's been instrumental. And maybe your mindset. It's something that it's crucial, or it's been crucial to your success to keep you advancing. If you can recognize one thing.
Something that is has always served me well in this is the constant curiosity to learn new things, and to not stop with, okay, that's not something I can't do, I don't know how to do it, but to always be like, that is something I haven't learned yet, let's go out there and let's learn it, and the mindset of that anything is possible, and it's just about putting in the time or the effort or the like actual will to do it, and that has already taken me to a lot of places, but I think that will continue to do so, and continue striving to learn new things and apply those to whatever you're doing at the moment, and keep on just collecting new knowledge is something that is I very much enjoy, for very, very different topics that might not be connected to what I'm doing currently, but it's just like keep on putting those in the back of my mind, and once in a while they pop up, and okay, this is why I know this now. I can apply this to this new situation, or to this new problem, and then thrive from that, and just keep on finding new things to learn, and to then you will find a way to apply those things. I think that's number one thing that's been helping me out in what I do, but also in general in a lot of different areas.
So life is a never-ending learning. So keep learning, and when you have that curiosity, you're gonna enjoy learning. You're gonna enjoy life by
curiosity towards new things, but also through traveling. I experienced a lot of curiosity towards other people, other cultures, other backgrounds, and other life stories that was completely different towards mine, and also made me a more humble person in that way, seeing that. Yeah, coming from Sweden, and seeing other places was definitely a big eye opener, and something that gave me a lot of good things come out of.
Yeah, have that openness is crucial. So let's talk about the future. So what is the next growth area for you personally and your business?
Personally, I think I have a lot of finding balance at the moment. I've been going very hard over the last couple of months, I would say, and I need to also balance not only focusing on work, but also on things like my health, training, working out, things like this. That will also trickle over into other parts of the business and my life in general. And I would say for the business, our next endeavor or our next focus area is finding new ways to connect with. We're working more and more towards yachts and super yachts, and that is something we haven't done a lot in the past. So I would say that is our growth area for our art, and finding new spaces to new clients to work with in that space. And that's really exciting. It's connected to the ocean in another way that other places aren't, and also a lot of interesting clients around the world in this field.
Right. Yeah, and I know you mentioned that you like traveling, so that having that balance, and maybe it's not a balance, but integration, that whatever you do in your job or whatever you do in your business and your artwork, there is a kind of a balance, so you integrate your physical health, because wherever you go, guess what? You're gonna take your body with you. So you better have a healthy, or even I always say a fit body, if you really want to enjoy and not have any physical excuse that I cannot go to that place because X, Y, Z. No, I have all the energy to do whatever, wherever. And that's exactly the source of creativity that you need as an artist to really expand not only your business, but expand your service, the service that you do with your art. And I think it's mandatory. And a lot of people misunderstand that and say, well, I'll take care of myself later, but the focus is my job. The focus is the result. And eventually they're going to lose the result as well, because you're losing your physical body, which you need wherever you go. Whatever dream you have, you're going to take, at least in this dimension, in this planet, you're going to take your body with you. So it's equally important to have that health. So I'm glad that you recognize that, right?
Something that I can definitely say that I have been doing also. So I'm glad I'm on a better path right now. I think we all might have been there for longer or shorter, but yeah.
Never is too late. Never is too late. Japanese say our bodies are designed to live 120 years with any illnesses. The only thing is that we live in a lot of contaminated and polluted world in terms of water, air, and even mentally. The mental thing, the way we think success is, or the way we think we have to conduct ourselves. So there's always ways to improve. At any age, you can reverse that. And of course, you're young, you're going to do it for sure. And you're in the right path so far.
Thank you, Robert.
So here comes a funny question, I know. If you could have lunch with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
It would be... There was a lot of options here, but Steve Jobs would be as a visionary, and also someone I've been inspired by since a kid. I started using Apple product as a kid, and somewhere along the way I said to myself, well, I'm gonna work for this company one day, and that happened. Fast forward a few years, that's what I did for over 10 years before I started with my shells. But I would definitely want to have lunch with him, someone that is known to create the impossible and take the impossible, get the impossible done out of people also, and have this kind of a sphere around him to change your mind on what is possible to be done, and that has always inspired me to strive for perfection, and also that anything can be done, and if it's not out there yet, well, then you can create it. It doesn't matter that no one else has it or knows about it. If you can dream it, you can make it happen.
You can make it happen. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. We need Steve Jobs back to give lectures, not to run a business, but to give us lectures.
For sure not. Just be the inspiring person that he was.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very, very inspiring.
That's okay. So what is the best way for people to contact you if they'd like to work with you or want to know more about you and get your art and really connect and do something together? So what is the best way?
The best way, everything Shellman, you would find on shellman.se, or you can check me out on socials at Shellman Scandinavia. On the website, you will find hundreds of previous pieces in the portfolio to be inspired by, and you will also find all the contact details if you'd like to get in contact for a commission work or just to discuss an idea you have or anything in between. You will also find a shop with currently available pieces and things like this. So shellman.se or at Shellman Scandinavia is the easiest way, and then we can connect from there.
Perfect. So that was amazing. I truly enjoyed our conversation. So thank you so much, Buster, for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you, Robert, for having me. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for joining me on Big Life Weekly series. I hope today's episode gave you the insight, inspiration, and tools you need to move closer to the life you're meant to live. Remember, true success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel while you're achieving it. If you found value in our conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with others who are ready to embrace their big life. Until next time, stay focused, keep growing, enjoy life, and break free.